Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to take some time, because this week is my deload week, to kind of share with you some insights that I have. And I think this is a word, momentum, that is used oftentimes in training. I use it all the time. I know Reactive Training Systems, Mike Tuchscherer uses it a lot to describe like the building up of, progress within your training. And, you've got that training momentum to get things rolling, right? Each week is going a little better and you're beginning to progress. And a lot of times this is used in a positive connotation, including myself. There's a tangible feeling of momentum in your training, in my opinion, to just be able to stack together serious training sessions that go well onto one another. But I do want to highlight today, in my experience, how momentum can potentially be a negative in your training. And you might be thinking right now, like, how in the world could this term that represents forward progress, that's carrying me forward, possibly become negative? And I'm going to use an example. I'll use it almost like, we'll take the physics context of momentum for a second, right? In physics, momentum is simply the amount of force in an amount of time that is needed to be applied to stop an object from moving. So if I have a higher momentum moving forward, then there needs to be a larger force over more time to get me stopped. Well, we kind of apply that to training, and that simply means, oh, you're rolling forward and you're progressing well. But what can happen is your body simply needs the occasional break, right? A deload, so to speak, is usually what people call it. And I like to think of it more as like, there is a mental momentum to training. And I think that's usually what we're talking about when we're saying, like, let's build momentum into the next session. It's a mental feeling where you're like, oh, I crushed that set. I can't wait to do it again next week and add some more weight. And you get excited. So it's more of a mental phenomenon. But what happens is sometimes you get a disconnect as a lifter where you have all of this mental momentum, and it might cloud your judgment not to listen to your body. And that's where injuries occur. And to stick with the analogy of momentum in physics, the injury, if you have a ton of momentum built up and you're hitting huge weights, then it's going to take a significant injury to stop that momentum. And trust me, when it happens, it'll stop you dead in your tracks. And I've gotten to the point over the past couple of years, several years at this point, where I can almost feel it. And you get in this sense of denial where it's like, oh, I'm rolling so well, I can't wait to just crush the next week. And you rationalize in your head like, oh, I've got one more week in me. I'm not hurting that bad. And it's a sign of someone who wants to push it in training, which is good. I think the person who wants to push training generally makes it further than the person who wants to be lazy in training. But it lends itself to kind of the same mentality that we're talking about here, where that momentum becomes dangerous because it's mental and you get this disconnect, and sometimes you push it a little harder than you need to. And the perfect example is last year, about this time leading up to the North American Championships, I had unbelievable momentum in my bench, right? I was as strong as ever at this point last year, and we had heavy singles in the program, and the momentum was rolling, right? I hit a very smooth 490 bench press. In my head, I was like, this is it, right? 500 bench, here we come. Talked to my coach, Bill. I was like, I'm going to crush it, okay? And maybe I was being clouded by that momentum a little bit, and the number and not conveying how my body was feeling or not listening to something out of my body. Now, I was not cognitively doing that, not doing it on purpose, but I think it's just something that happens. And what happened was, the next week we loaded up 500. The warm-up before 490 flew, right? And 500 should have gone too, but on the descent, there went a delt, right? It was a delt or bicep. I still, to this day, don't know. I'm leaning toward delt, but, it doesn't matter at this point. But there's that big force, right? I had huge momentum, which means I need a huge force in the opposite direction to stop me by definition of the physics version of momentum. And there it was, right? I had this delt tear, took me out of the North American Championships, and really has made this entire year of bench training a struggle. So, flash forward to this year and this deload. Once again, I have huge momentum. My squat and deadlift are as strong as they've ever been, 100%. Bench is coming back around. I think we're getting close to PR territory. Will we give 500 a ride? Probably not, but we're getting there. And I could feel it, I was getting excited because telling my coach Bill McCarthy from Get the Lift, there's a plug, go check him out. I was telling him, man, I'm feeling good. I can't wait to hit the next week. And then, here as the objective coach, because he maybe doesn't feel that momentum as much as I do because it's an emotional phenomena, he said, hey, let's give it a recovery week, right? Pivot, and then we'll hit something big going into North Americans, right? We'll kind of ramp up from there. And from the outside looking in, he is 100% correct. So as you're watching this training footage, these weights look light, but it's because it's a strategic deload, right? And that does not kill the momentum because I'm still moving these fast and I'm feeling great. And what it's going to do is it'll heal me up a little bit. And then after this week, we're going to hit some even bigger sets. But I just wanted to share these thoughts with you about how momentum can be dangerous to your training, and it can be highly beneficial to have a coach or someone that you trust to kind of recenter you. And sometimes whenever you have the best momentum, that's the best time to take a step back, regroup, and then continue that momentum along. Okay, so hopefully that resonates with you all. Let me know, do you feel the same tangible mental momentum in your training? Have you had any injuries that have set you back before? Drop it in the comments down below. As always, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy lifting.